Colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to welcome all of you to this dialogue conference on the EduApp4Syria competition here at the premises of the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, NORAD. NORAD is coordinating this innovation competition together with the Norwegian University of Technology and Science. Innovation is about new and better ways of doing things. I am particularly happy to welcome so many innovators and friends of innovators to this exciting event. My impression from the list of participants is that we have gathered highly relevant and diverse expertise in the room. We are looking for the best ways to engage the market in addressing a tremendously important challenge. To us, it makes sense to start with a dialogue to ensure that we build on existing work already in the market and define needs and opportunities to forge the best way ahead. It is our hope that partners with comparative advantages will be eager to step up in finding potential roles in this exciting endeavor. We have a full agenda, but have tried to make time both for Q&A and for networking afterwards. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce today's first speaker, State Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Tone Skogen. State Secretary, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good afternoon to all of you. I'm quite impressed by the fact that so many people are here, and I too am quite pleased to be here today and to open this meeting on the EduApp4Syria Innovation Competition. And we are here today because we share a common interest, an interest in innovation and an interest in using innovation to ensure that even the most vulnerable children have access to education, in this case, Syrian refugee children. Education is a priority in Norway's development policy, and innovation is vital if we are to achieve our ambitious goals. Technological progress and the widespread availability of electronic devices are opening up new opportunities for increasing access to and improving the quality of education. The aim of this international innovation competition is to develop a smartphone application that can help Syrian children to learn to read no matter where they are and ensure continuity in their education. The app will be intended primarily for children living in crisis and conflict situations. Its purpose will be to give these children an opportunity to learn, an opportunity that is otherwise being taken from them. All children have the right to an education. No children should be exposed to the trauma and stress of war and having to flee from everything they know. Unfortunately, for many children, this is the reality. More than 3 million Syrian children are unable to attend school because of the war. Within Syria, school enrollment rates have dropped from almost 100% to an average of 50%. In some areas, enrollment rates are down to 5%. Education is vital for the future of these children. According to the Interagency Network for Emergency Education, INE, one of our partners in organizing this competition, at least a quarter of the schools in Syria have been damaged or destroyed, or are being used for purposes other than schooling. Some schools are standing empty because parents are keeping their children at home for fear of bombings and arbitrary attacks. Almost half the school-aged children who have managed to escape the country are not receiving any form of education. Most of the Syrians who have fled the country are living in nearby countries, such as Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, and Turkey. Those who have been able to gain access to some form of education are encountering significant obstacles to learning, such as unfamiliar curriculums, language barriers, overcrowding, and discrimination. Syrian children who are unable to attend school need to be able to continue to learn no matter where they are living. Many of them have lived through traumatic experiences and prolonged periods of stress. The purpose of this innovation competition is to provide an alternative learning opportunity for these children. Given that a large proportion of Syrian refugees have access to a smartphone, we have chosen to make this a competition to develop a digital game-based learning tool that can be downloaded and used offline, a learning supplement for use in the home. Many Syrian parents are well educated and will be able to help their children to use a learning tool of this kind. The goal is for the new app to improve Syrian children's literacy levels in Arabic and also to improve their psychosocial well-being. I know that between you, you combine expertise on digital entertainment and learning games, on literacy, on the Arabic language, on psychosocial well-being, on education in crisis and conflict situations, and on other aspects of humanitarian relief operations. Some of you are already part of organizations and broad teams that are well placed to meet this innovation challenge. We know that innovation often thrives when experts from various disciplines join forces to address new and important challenges. I hope this meeting will inspire you to participate in the competition. And now, I think it's time to get on with today's important agenda, but before I hand over the floor, I would like to mention the project partners involved. We, that is NORAD, who we just heard from, our host today, DFI, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who together with NTNU cooperate with our international partners, which is the partnership All Children Reading, the mobile operator Orange, and INE. I would like to thank all the project partners for taking part in this important endeavor and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you for a great opening speech, State Secretary. Good afternoon. My name is Liv Marte Nordhaug, and I want to start by apologizing for my voice. I have a cold, but I will be able to take us through this conference anyway. I will be your chair. I am the coordinator for this competition in NORAD, together with Alf Inge Wang from the Norwegian University of Technology and Science, who is sitting right there. I am also really pleased with this highly qualified audience that we have here physically today. And I also want to extend a warm welcome to those, and I'm pointing there, who I know are following us on live stream in various parts of the world. Great to have you with us as well. We will now move on to some short videos that illustrate various aspects of this innovation challenge that the State Secretary presented so well. The first video is from the Interagency Network for Emergency Education, INEE, which is one of the partners for the project. The video is about the provision of education in emergencies and some of the challenges involved.
INEE is a global network of about 12,000 members in 170 countries. INEE exists to ensure that all people affected by crisis have access to quality, safe, and relevant education. And this includes refugees and displaced people. There are more refugees now than since World War II, and the average amount of time someone spends as a refugee today is close to 20 years, and we continue to see that number rise. And when we think about education, that's a whole primary and secondary school cycle. The conflict in Syria is now into its 5th year, and in that time almost 4 million people have fled the country, not to mention the 8 million who have been internally displaced. And in that time, school enrollment rates have gone from close to 100% before the crisis to less than 50%, with even lower numbers in the hardest hit areas of Syria, and we see these numbers even lower for those children who now find themselves outside of Syria, in new countries and on the move. If you'd like to see more about this information and keep up on this information, you can visit our website at www.ineesite.org. And if you look on the website, you can go to the Crisis Spotlights page, and there we try to keep up-to-date information related to education for children and youth affected by the Syrian conflict. Clearly, to ensure the continuity of the education of millions of Syrian students, and to avoid what could become a lost generation of uneducated children and youth, education cannot wait for this conflict to end. These are desperate times. Reoccurring and long-lasting crisis has changed the way governments and humanitarian actors must respond. A reality where the education needs of millions of learners might be ignored just because it's too complicated, or denied because government systems just can't accommodate the influx. This situation needs to be met with new energy and new ideas. This reality needs innovative solutions, and the time is now to try to find these solutions. INEE is thrilled to see the proactive and innovative approaches that Norway is taking to meet the most challenging refugee situation ever. Together with several partners, INEE fully supports the Mobile Literacy and Psychosocial Wellbeing app. This mobile approach to learning, it's fitting for our times, and it's fitting for people who are forced to be on the move. It's our hope that this innovation challenge will produce an Arabic language literacy app for broad use for the refugees from Syria, and it will not only meet their acute needs to continue their education, but it will inspire other innovations and for other contexts, so that we will be able to see that there is continuity for education for refugees in this situation and in other contexts. We wish you well in this endeavor, and we hope for the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Our next video is of a Syrian family currently living as refugees here in Norway. Even though this is not where most of the target population for this innovation project lives, we still believe that their experiences and perspectives are very relevant.
أطلقت لليبيا وحدي يعني، وحاولت أسس شغل وأفتح شيء جديد وأبعت على زوجتي وأولادي فيما بعد. فلحين ما صارت الموافقة وزبطت أموري، كان هون بلشت الأزمة بسوريا، وصار في ضرب في حلب عفوا، وصار في قصف وإلى ذلك. فحضروا تقريبا شهرين من الأزمة في حلب وإجوا لعندي على ليبيا. عادت سنة زمان، رجعت اشتغلت الأزمة في ليبيا والقصف وإلى ذلك. جيت عن طريق البحر، كان قرار صعب جدا يعني، بتاريخ اللحظة ما بسامح حالي يعني صدقا أنه حطيت أولادي بهالمرحلة. ووصلنا لهم، بس كانت رحلة صعبة جدا جدا يعني، ما تنوصف لا بكلام ولا بجرائد مثل ما بقولوا يعني.
عندكم تواصل مع قرايبكم بالداخل أو بالخارج، أو وين القرايب وين الناس؟
التواصل لابد منه صراحة، في بالداخل وفي بالخارج وفي بعض الأصدقاء، لا يخلى الأمر عن طريق الأجهزة الحديثة حاليا، السكايب، الفايبر، بعض المواقع الموجودة، التواصل الاجتماعي غالبا. هلا الهجزة صارت بعتقد مو فقط للسوريين، لكن لعامة البشر مثل ما بيقولوا. تليفون صار جزء منه يعني. أكثر الأشخاص بتواصلوا بالمواقع اللي هي التواصل الاجتماعي اللي ممكن يتواصل من خلالها مع الأشخاص الثانيين، وبعض منهم بتناولهم بالألعاب والتسلية كذا. إلا فيما دول الجوار مثل تركيا ولبنان حكم أنه أزمة معينة، بعرف أشخاص كثير ما بيروحوا على المدرسة لأن البلد بحرب وما في يعني مدارس كافية للسوريين الموجودين هناك. بس كون أنه في دول الجوار، في بعرف أشخاص أولاد حماي قرايبيني بالسويد، بعرف بألمانيا، بعرف حتى بالنرويج كثير أشخاص بيروحوا على المدرسة. بس ولكن الموضوع مو موضوع لأن لغة النشق الطفل بشهرين 3 بيسيطر عليها. عرفت علي؟ المشكلة أنه اللغة الأم هي اللي عم تتناساها. يعني أنا قبل ما يدخل ابني على الروضة بعد بتصور أنه كان يحكي معي، يتفرج على التلفزيون العربي، يحكي معي باللغة الفصحى على سبيل المثال. بلش يدخل على المدرسة بلش يتناساها يعني. أكثر مشكلة بعاني منها أنه بتصور أنه ابني يصير عمره 15-16 سنة لا يعرف يقرأ ولا يعرف يكتب عربي، خاصة أنه لفظه هلأ بالعربي ضعيف. هلا هي لغة الأم هو مجرد مو بس أهمية، يعني بغض النظر عن التقاليد والمتعارف عليه أنه لازم يكون يحكي هذه اللغة الأم، مهمة بالنسبة له. يعني إحنا ما بنعرف مستقبلا الإيش مخبينا يعني.
كيف بتحاولي تعلمي العربي؟ هل جربتي تحاولي ولا لسه؟
لا، عم بحاول. هلا حاليا عندي دفتر بيكتبوا عليه حرف. نحن بتعرف اللغة العربية مثل اللغة النرويجية ألف ب ت س. بحاول أنا أطل الأحرف وأعلمه، يعني مثل ما نحن تعلمنا في بلدنا، تعلمنا الأحرف وهيك لا قدرنا نتعلم الكلام ونقدر نحكي ونقدر نكتب.
لاحظتي أي أعراض ضغط نفسي، توتر، قلق، خوف، صعوبات بالتركيز أثناء ما بتدرسيهم على الأطفال أثناء ما كنتوا بليبيا وبالمراحل الصعبة؟
هلا طبعا الطفل بسوريا بتعرض لكتير ضغوطات من ناحية الأصوات، القذائف، بصير معهم ستريس، توتر من يعني في جو سوريا ما بقدر أوصف لك إياه، يعني من الخوف والرعب. يعني نحن ككبار وبصير معنا حالات رشفة وتعب وخوف، فكيف طفل يعني عم بسمع كل يوم صوت القذف وصوت الضرب وصوت القذائف، يعني شيء يفوق الوصف.
تركيزه ضعيف شوي. أنا بحسه بالأشياء اللي بتهمه بيركز عليها كتير.
ممكن تخلي البنت تمسك التليفون قد الصبي؟
طبعا شيء مهم انه احط لهم، انا انزل لهم برامج شيء تفيدهم ويستفيدوا منه ويتعلموا فيها، فهذا شيء مهم ان كان بنت وان كان صبي. طبعا ما في فرق بيناتهم، اكيد الاثنين لازم يكونوا يتعلموا.
I really want to thank the Aksh family living in Hønefoss for sharing their experiences with us and opening their home. Thank you. We now have 2 short videos about the areas that we're really hoping to have an effect on through this innovation challenge. We will start with this short video on literacy.
Before we begin our discussions today, I'd like to share some insights from research. The formula for success in reading instruction is simple. It has 3 parts. Children must learn how to read in a language that they speak and understand. The instruction that they receive must be consistent with what we know from evidence-based practice. And children must spend enough time on task, that is, in instruction and in reading practice, to build a level of skill that is sufficient to use reading as a tool for learning. The evidence-based practice focuses on the teaching of 5 component skills. Children must learn that their oral language is made up of a specific set of sounds, and that those sounds are represented and can be represented by letters and letter combinations. They must learn how to sound out words and eventually to read common words without having to sound them out. They must build their speed and accuracy of reading, and they must learn how to read in a natural voice. They must build their oral vocabulary, and they must learn how to comprehend what they read. There is a 4th component to this approach to success, this formula to success, that doesn't have much research evidence to support it. However, most researchers and practitioners agree that it's a key to success. And that's motivation. Children must find reading instruction interesting, enjoyable, and meaningful. If they don't, they're going to lose their motivation and their attention's going to turn elsewhere. A digital app that is consistent with this three-part formula for success and that engages students in such a way that it supports their motivation to learn can be successful in teaching Syrian children to read. I hope during our discussions that we keep these insights from research on the table. Thank you.
Thank you, John. The next video briefly discusses the relevance of psychosocial well-being for this project.
As you know or can imagine, children affected by the conflict in Syria are under extraordinary stress. Many have witnessed terrifying violence, are enduring the loss of family members and friends, and find themselves far from home in an unfamiliar place. There's a lot of variability and diversity in the way children respond to these kinds of traumatic stresses. Their responses and their capacity for resilience will vary. For example, one child might be taking care of family members and be profoundly competent from looking from the outside, but then suffer from terrifying nightmares and memory problems. Another child may be able to work on a math problem or read, but at the same time be suffering from headaches and not want to connect with others, be really socially isolated. Regardless of their situation or response to stress, re-engaging children in their learning and offering psychosocial support can help them cope, connect to community, and reduce the long-term negative effects of stress on their brain development, their health, and their learning outcomes. I encourage you to look at the research on stress, trauma, and resilience, best practices in education and emergencies, and the stories of children themselves. Their voices can give us a lot of information about their everyday struggle, how they're coping with stress, the strategies that they're coming up with on their own, and where they really need advocacy and assistance. Best of luck on your projects. Looking forward to the good work.
Thank you, Barbara. In our last video, Alfin Gevang tells us about some of the merits of game-based learning.
My name is Alfin Gevang, and I'm a professor in game-based learning at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. Further, I'm one of the founders and inventors of the game-based learning platform Kahoot, which has been used by over 80 million people across the world. I'm also the chairman of Join Game, which is Norway's largest professional network for game researchers and game developers. I believe game-based learning on mobile platforms can significantly improve the well-being and literacy among Syrian children unable to attend school because of war. And here are my reasons for why. Play is our first language. Babies learn through playing and interacting with everything within reach. We continue to learn through playing our whole life. The majority of children growing up today plays video games and expect media to be interactive. Research results. Several studies show that game-based learning, when used correctly, has beneficial effects on academic achievement, motivation, engagement, concentration, enjoyment, and classroom dynamics.
Yes! I got it! I got it! Yes!
Information on demand. Well-designed games provide information on demand and just in time when you need it. Players as producers. Good games allow players to be producers and not only consumers. This means that a player can create their own game content. Studies of game-based learning applications that allow players to be producers show a higher learning effect compared to games where the players only are consumers. Adaptive progression. Good games adapt the difficulty level dynamically to the player's skills to allow a smooth learning curve, and is therefore well suited for children with learning difficulties. They teach players the initial skills that later can be used to solve more complex problems. Improved skills through repetition. Good games repeatedly confront the player with a similar problem until they have the skills to master new challenges. Mastering a problem in a game will boost the player's self-esteem, while new, more difficult challenges will develop resilience. Social learning. Social learning can take place in multiplayer games where players can learn both subject and social skills. Social learning also takes place when two or more persons share a game experience on a single device. A typical game-based learning scenario of social learning would be when a child and a parent interact in a single game and together learn and play. Learning everywhere. Learning does not only take place in classrooms, but everywhere, both virtually and in the real world. The grand challenge within game-based learning is to find the perfect balance between entertainment and learning. Good luck.
Thank you, Alf Inge. Having introduced various aspects of the challenge in some more detail, we will now hear from a large commercial company. Mr. Erwan Le Contrec from the mobile operator Orange will now speak briefly about why Orange decided to be a partner for this innovation competition. Please, Erwan, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Liv. First of all, I would like to thank the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, NORAD, for inviting me to speak here today. Orange is glad to be part of this important project. The Orange Group has worked in support of education for many years. Its foundation has helped build schools in sub-Saharan Africa and is supporting projects involving digital tools. The foundation particularly works to promote the education of young girls. More generally, through its research and development work, the Orange Group invests in the development of innovative educational solutions, support for the development of content, e-learning platforms, MOOCs, applications dedicated to learning via smartphones or tablets, preferential rates for internet traffic or connections, even free access to Wikipedia in Africa, and satellite connections for schools. We see that the ongoing digitalization of society has a great impact and requires a dedicated approach to reap the benefits. Projects within the education or healthcare sectors tend to require a collaborative approach, which partnerships involving a great variety of players, NGOs, public sector players, academics, education specialists, technical and financial partners, startups, and industrial groups. These alliances are often crucial for success. The Orange Group believes that ICT may have a beneficial impact on educational challenges, such as improving educational quality through access to relevant content for isolated or very poor populations. And we have no doubts about the need for innovative learning solutions for Syrian children. This is what has brought us together today. The impact of conflict is terrible, and many Syrian children risk becoming part of a lost generation. For these children, a quality education is needed to protect their future opportunities. ICTs alone will not be a miracle solution to the dramatic situation they are facing, but can be an important supplement to the physical and the ground efforts deployed by other stakeholders. A learning application like the one we are discussing today, may encourage children to keep learning and to stay engaged. This is why Orange Lab's researchers will be supporting the project throughout. In addition to bringing in our R&D expertise, we will help this competition by supporting the distribution of the best learning application. This is similar to what we are already doing with the African Social Venture Prize, where we are present in 20 countries. Orange is already present as a mobile operator in Jordan and Iraq, countries with large Syrian refugee populations. And if the winning application proves to be relevant also for other Arabic-speaking populations and countries where Orange is present, we can help with outreach efforts in this as well. We believe that it is quite likely that the winning concept from this competition may end up having a broader relevance for the initial target population, giving the novelty of combination, learning and psychosocial well-being in a mobile tool. I wish all of you, the best of luck as potential participants for the competition, and hope you continue to stay engaged. Thank you.